You want them to feel that emotion of that song and just kind of capture the essence of that song in your own way of telling a story. And that's what we are. We're painters in a sense. We sing the songs and paint a picture. But there again, it's always up to the individual's interpretation of what you're doing. Again, like you said, you could write a song about one thing, but somebody else's interpretation could be entirely different, but still they find a way ultimately to connect to the song. And that's got to be a very, very flattering feeling for you as a songwriter.
Oh, yes, yeah. Yeah, it was definitely a huge compliment.
Mm-hmm. Well, the funny part is, like, you're literally across the world from me. And we connected through music, and that's the thing we have most in common. And, I was really, my ear for your voice, early on when I was sitting listening to the different stuff you had posted on your Facebook, different videos, I was sitting there listening, and I told my wife, I said, my gosh, this woman sounds so good. I just love the way she sounds. I love her voice. It's so different. And so, we're both, you're welcome, very welcome. And we're both sitting there listening to you. And finally I told her, I said, you know what? I bet she could do some Tracy Chapman. I bet she could pull that off. Well, lo and behold, I go down to the very next video, and you're doing Fast Car.
Yeah.
And her and I are listening to it, and we're just blown away because it's just so spot on, but yet it's still you. You know what I mean? Very few people have that ability to take somebody else's song and sing it and sound so much, so good with it, but still have their own identity at the end of the song. And that's what amazed me. And I was like, I've got to get her on the podcast. She's got to be on the podcast. I mean, and that's the thing. I will be listening to your music, I'm sure, many years from now. And definitely want to stay up on everything you're doing because, you're just an amazing artist. Now, we've talked about your songwriting. We've talked about a couple of songs. Now, what I want to talk to you about, too, because I was unaware of this, actually, until you told me. I saw this guy in the video. Amazingly talented musician, and just unbelievable. But I had no idea who it was until you and I were talking, and it's your son.
Yeah.
Now, he's an amazing, amazing musician. That I know right off the bat. How did this come about for him? Was it because Mom did it before, or is he just...
Yeah, basically, when they were about 12, I taught them the guitar. Mm-hmm. Both my son and my daughter play guitar.
Okay.
Kevin, Kevin, when he was about 7, always wanted to play the pipes, the Scottish bagpipes. So we ended up, we got him into that, and he's more lucky than what I was, because I didn't get the chance to read music. My parents, didn't have the means of the budget to, we were all musical. We come from a musical family. So for 4 of us to go and get music lessons would have just been quite impossible with the budget that my mum and dad had. So it was all self-taught. So when Kevin was interested in playing the pipes, I got him a music teacher, and he learnt, to play by reading music. Mm. So he had a bit of advantage with that. But I learnt him guitar when he was about 12. And then he went on to other things. He plays guitar, he plays a bit of banjo, he plays the Scottish pipes, he plays the Irish pipes, and he also plays the Scottish small pipes, which I think is what he's playing in the video that I've sent you. He also plays Irish tin whistles, harmonica. He's pretty much a good all-rounder. Right. He's good to have in a team for the album. So it's he's pretty good in the studio as well. You know, he can go in and he can kind of just work things out. You know, the sounds there and then on the spot. So he's kind of a good all rounder.
Well, I was actually blown away just by. I think I'd heard him play the pipes, and I had, and then I think you had sent me a video of him playing a little bit, and because I had mentioned to you that the only reason I was ever even interested in watching the movie Titanic, because I was a DiCaprio hater like most men were, because all the women were crazy over this kid, and you know, but I vowed never to damage my masculinity by watching this movie, and then I heard Celine Dion's song, and I heard the pipes in that, and I was just like, whoa, I got to hear this, you know. And so I watched.
There's quite a lot of whistles in it as well.
Yeah, well, and I watched the entire movie just because of the soundtrack. But getting back to your son, now he plays pretty much the same type of music there. And so when you had sent me that recording of him, I was just like, wow, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it was beautiful.
Yeah, it's very haunting.
Yes, it makes the hair stand up on your arms, you know. And let's face it, I'm from America, and there's so many different types of people here that nothing should ever surprise me or anything, but you know, nothing makes the hair stand up on my arms. That did. I mean, because he's just that good, man. I mean, it's not just that the music's so haunting; it's his delivery of it. And you have to, you know, lessons or not, he has to have an ear for it to be able to pull that off. And folks.
Oh yes, definitely. Yeah.
Folks, if you haven't,
he's very musical.
Right. And for the folks that haven't heard him, I definitely want to get him out there. I want to have him on the podcast at some point. Now, you said that you were gigging with him. How does it feel to be able to gig with your son? I mean, that's got to be pretty incredible.
Oh yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, it is. It's very good. A lot of people think we're man and wife, though. We often get taken for that. He gets a wee bit fed up hearing that, but no, it's amazing. It's pretty amazing. You know, and that's one good thing about being married young and having your children young is, you know, you get to jam with them, you know, when they're a wee bit older. So it's absolutely fantastic.
Mm-hmm. And I would say for him, it's got to be amazing too, because you know, I can see when you guys are playing. I mean, you're obviously very, very proud of him, and he just looks like he's enjoying it so much.
Yeah, he does. He thoroughly enjoys, you know. I mean, we don't gig a lot. We gig now and again because he's so busy, you know, with his own, you know, his own business and that. But when we do, you know, we're buzzing by the end of the night. But it's totally different to what, you know, I write. I mean, I've written so many songs, different genres of music. You know, I write some Scottish songs. I've wrote a couple of Scottish songs. I've wrote country songs, blues songs. You know, to me, there's no rules, you know, about you have to sound this way. You know, I love all music.
Right, and I get, you know, I'm the same way with it, and it kind of keeps the creative flowing for myself personally. The creative end of it keeps flowing better that way. It seems like if I don't limit myself to a genre. And I don't think I could ever sit down and just write a particular genre. Now, way back in the day, when I very, very first started writing songs, I had a song that I wrote called The Bottle. And you know, my ideas always revolve around something different. And what my train of thought was at that time was I had heard, you know, I'd been doing a lot of classic country and heard a lot of classic country and grew up with it, obviously. And in my mind, you know, I was thinking, okay, we've heard the party songs and we've heard all these other songs. about losing your house and your wife and your truck and so on and so forth, and all the sad heartbreak songs. But there were so many drinking songs, but there weren't a whole lot of different types of drinking songs. And when I wrote The Bottle, I was thinking, okay, I want to explain to people about being in the throes of alcoholism, or being in the throes of the drinking, not the partying over here where you're still having fun, or the end over here where it's all gone and over. And so I sat down and wrote The Bottle, and I actually came up with the chorus before any of it. And the chorus, it was just, to me, the chorus was so haunting, I had to put that to a song. And so there, for the longest time, I would write country songs primarily, but that was just because that's what I was doing and influenced by at the time. And as time went on, I started branching out and writing songs that fit all other genres. And I was like, and it always amazes me to sit down and write a song that fits a genre that I haven't written songs for. You know what I mean? It like sparks that creative flow again. So I don't limit myself to writing to any particular genre. I think I'm heavily influenced by whatever I'm listening to at the moment. If I'm listening to Bob Seger, then I'll write something Seger-esque. Or if I'm listening to Rob Thomas, I'll write something Rob Thomas-like, But I've talked to a lot of songwriters, and they don't do it that way. I hear the music in my head when I'm writing a song. A lot of songwriters I've talked to do not do it that way. They come up with words, and then they come up with music.
Well, I'm normally it's always the melody for me first.
Right.
I normally get a melody in my head first, and then it'll just be, I could be out walking and just get this lyrical pop into the head, and it just builds round about. If I like it, it'll just build round about it, and the story unfolds.
Right. And I'm sure the people can probably hear this as they're listening, and I'm sure you probably can too. We're having a pretty bad thunderstorm here right now, so any of the sound or static is picking up, there's nothing I can do about it, literally. And it's here in the studio, you can actually hear it raining pretty hard on the roof.
Oh, is that what it is? I wondered what that noise was.
Yeah, I apologize for that. I mean, I could plan around it all day long. There's nothing I can do about the way. Actually, when we started this conversation, it was beautiful and sunny out, and then all of a sudden this. So.
Well, we've actually got it very nice here in Scotland today. It's beautiful weather.
Okay. Now, you're in Scotland.
It's only in the 20s, but remember, this is Scotland. We don't always get really nice weather here.
Okay.
It's quite cold sometimes.
Well, now, you're in Scotland, and I'm assuming it's winter time?
No, it's summer.
It's summertime, and you're still that cold?
Yep.
Wow.
Well, we think it's hot. We're not used to too much hot weather. But yeah, last summer wasn't very nice, but this summer we seem to be getting quite a nice summer, so long may it continue.
Well, so you're there, and what part of Scotland are you in?
I stay in a small place called Inverbervie, and it's about 25 miles south from the city of Aberdeen.
Okay.
And it's just a small place. And Inverbervie is actually, it's taken from the Scottish Gaelic, and Inver means mouth of the river, so we're just right on the coast. So we've got the North Sea just right beside us, so it's quite a nice wee place, yeah.
A lot of fish.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
we used to be a small fishing community, but it's kind of died back. We have a small village just about a mile from us, Gourdon, and they obviously still, they still do the fishing. The boats are always out there. They've still got the harbour. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's a very nice place.
Now there's a lot of history in Scotland, and And a lot of people, here in the States, we're fascinated, absolutely fascinated. Between Scotland and Ireland and everything,